your designer shirt. My mind is squirt, some rhyme work that'll make your sinus hurt. Buckle your seat while the pilot work. My spacecraft got enough gas that'll take you out of this earth. I'm magic with the pen and paper like a warlock. The window panes wide open, but the door's locked. So you looking through the window for it in your window, but do they really have the skill to analyze the symbol? Crescendo, the ashes glow when the wind blow. The rain put out the fire while the children build a temple. Just like the pyramids, walls and scribble, a projection in the sky of the messiahs on your mental. Monumental and extraterrestrial, turning these niggas into mental vegetables. It's kinda crazy how I ride on instrumentals as I slice like a Ginsu with the vibe I put in. You listen. This is not a double life, it's just a new beginning. The magic is to focus on our goals till we're winning. I'd rather have a portrait of myself up on the ceiling. I could lay down on the floor, look up and visualize the millions. Imagine that. Do you see the picture clearly? Focusing on working with me. You could get this money with me. We could take over the world and put the trophies in the city, the plaques on the wall, and have a feast of who was with me. Yeah, last week was just the past, right? A new beginning, I've been up for all these past nights. And all these people that I knew just seem to pass by. They stuck on stupid worry about their past lives. And I just ask why. Are they agents? Is the system about to crash? Am I the one like in the Matrix? Is the planets in the heavens? Then the earth is just a spaceship. Our thoughts control reality and life is what you make it.
You were supposed to be here. You and I were supposed to figure this out together.
Motherfucker. What'd I tell you, Frank?
It got late, and I didn't...
You got kids, you nail the window shut. You nail the motherfucking window shut.
No.
Frank,
No.
right?
No, I can't. Don't.
I don't know how you're doing this, but you're lying.
No. I swear to you, I'm not.
Megan, get the fuck away from that window! Hey, Elgin, let me hold $20 till tomorrow. Yo, we're back with another live stream. And we coming in on the Express Live, you know, as we do from time to time. And I wanted to make this earlier in the day so that people in different time zones could tune in and we can vibe out and see if Elgin will let the kimono lady hold that little $5 right quick. But I definitely want to talk about this episode that we saw, episode 407, the 4-7 episode. I want to talk about some things that we've been talking about this on this channel. I've been getting some comments. I love the comment section. The comment section has, you know, a way of transferring the information of the conversations that get started in the community. You know what I'm saying? The confirmations that we got from this episode definitely provoked the fans in such a way. You know what I mean? Like, a lot gets spread through the comment section. Like, some person might watch a video of mine and go into the comment section of someone else's, and vice versa. Someone might watch another video of another creator and come into the comment section of one of my videos with some of their thoughts in the conversation that was going on in there. And it's dope when that happens, because it spreads the ideas of people that are engaged in the conversation, but they're also watching content of multiple creators. So they're seeing a lot of that's got to be very interesting to watch this kind of show in that way, where you can connect with multiple point of views on the show, whether you agree with it or not. I'm sure every creator adds something to the mix that is valuable to the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Let me hop down in the comments real quick, in the chat, and see who's down here real quick. What's going on? What's going on? Who's over in the chat? Hold on. What's up? We froze? No, we're not frozen. Okay, good. I actually have the chat and the stream up. Okay, here we are. We got D Moore in the building. We got Debbie, Yebby, Bo Bebby, Banana Fana, Fofebi, to the FIFA, Momebi. Debbie is in the building with us. Tallulah Lives is here. What's going on? Who else we got? We got Christy Thomas in the building. Hello. Time to crack some eggs. Indeed. The egg cracking will commence. The egg symbolism popping up in this episode, with the Viewmaster showing pre and post 9/11. If that didn't make you think about this channel, I don't know what would. Like, those are things that I have been pointing out for the longest. Okay? Isn't it something to see these things showing up in this show like the way that it's showing? Like, I'm not sure if y'all picking up what I've been putting down. We got Steph in the building. We got Catalyst in the building. Okay. Who else is here? We got Tailored Healing TV in the building. Taylor is in the building with us. She said, "What's up, everyone?" We got RCO is here, rocking 16 G's in the building. What's going on? We got Theo Jr. in the building. What's going on, Theo? I'm with Alice is rocking with us. Cole Knox is in the building. Good to have you as always. We got Sprinkle Kitty here. Kayla's here with us. Okay. What's going on, Kayla? Oh, yeah, we got Golden Child Productions in the building. What's going on? Henry, what you got on this 40? Henry. Yo, Henry gonna come up with some change for the 40 as long as he get in the cup. He gonna come up with some change to help on that 40. Mm-hmm. He might even pull out the stash of somebody else's liquor. We got Ghost MKC. I'm going down in the chat. We got Ghost MKC. I'm trying to catch people I haven't called yet. We got Leah in the building. What's going on? We got Freedom's March in the building. Freedom's March. What's going on with you? Who else is in here? Yo. Taylor said Debbie's been putting out some dope work lately. Yo, go check out Debbie. Debbie, please drop your link in the chat. If you love work, artwork, music, beats, she's got that over there. Definitely on a certain level that the beats and the art connect together in a way where you're actually watching this art come to life. It moves. She incorporates her style. She incorporates themes. You definitely have to go check her art out if you are a fan of that type of thing. Who else we got in here? A-Trap is in the building. I need some confirmation if anyone else knows for sure that the ballerina Boise is the same woman who played the nurse in Henry's Hallucination. Um, I don't think that's the same actress. We can look that up actually and go through that at some point in the stream for sure. You know what I'm saying? Ghost MKC comes through with the egg symbolism. Yes, indeed. We have the egg symbolism. Hit that egg. What's going on with the egg? Debbie, Abby, Bo, Bebby. We got the eggs all in the chat. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is with that egg symbolism. Sprinkle Kitty said, "Real, do you think we'll ever see Star Magic Hotel?" I don't know. The motel. I don't know. I have no idea if we'll see that. If we do see it, it may be in a flashback. I don't think I don't know. I don't think we'll see the actual hotel pop up in Frumlin. I don't think so. My theory on that is Frum brings these places there. Like I think that the animals are the same. I think it brings the animals in there just like the people get brought in there, except for they get brought in and they're roaming the forest. You know what I'm saying? And where an animal, would most likely be able to get, food like the chickens. I'm sure they eating the bugs out there. We know that there are bugs out there. Somebody in the comments told me that Geekademy said something about bugs showing up in Frumlin. And you know what? I said that in my very first video in season 2. I noticed a spider web and I didn't think that it had anything to do with it. But what I do know is in the editing room, they tend to take out things like that. Like if there's a spider web that shows up in the shot and the sun hits it and you can see that spider web, in most cases they take that out. They would take that out. In my video, my very first video on this channel, I speculated that it was like a happy accident that they left in there, but I would love to see, I would love to go through Frum with a fine tooth comb and try to see if we can count the bugs. I know I actually started doing that at one point in time, and I got as far as to when Boyd was scooping up Frank's body out of the box. There were some like flies in there. You know what I'm saying? And so we know that there are other birds. Well, we've seen another type of bird other than a crow there. And we've seen Sarah and Boyd, when Sarah was in the tent, she found a worm. So, I mean, I'm thinking that this place will have to have an intact ecosystem full of bugs and things of that nature that would make the ecosystem actually work in this place. I'm gonna just say this right now. I think this place is contained inside of an egg-shaped dome. I think that Frum is inside of an egg-shaped container. That's my theory. Y'all could be take it and do what you will. Take it and do what you will. I've said it right here. I've been wanting to say it, and I have some evidence that may suggest such as well. Not just all of the egg symbolism alone. No channel talked about the egg symbolism. Not one other than this channel. No channel dug into the 47 connections to real world events that continue to happen like this channel. And, I believe that, and I don't want to sound corny when I say this, but I believe that all truth reveals itself through patterns that are found in nature, culture, mythology, the architecture, the art, media, repeating themes in history, and just like everyday experiences of humanity. and the art that we create and the things that we say and the things that happen to us in our lives. Sometimes it might be a day in your life for whatever reason. You may not even know the reason, but you just keep seeing a same number pattern throughout the day. You know, I believe that the logos is like a divine principle. You know what I'm saying? It's like an intelligence that it 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 works in everything. It works through all things. You know what I mean? And I believe that everybody has the ability to see these things if they slow down and they stop and they look at these things. Now, I'm not saying that to say that this is spooky or this is some, far out hippie bullshit. You know, I'm saying that this thing is actually architectural in nature. Like, people in high places, I should say, notice these things, they know these things, and they're the ones that are putting the money behind the music, the movies, all of the art that we consume, and the stories that are being told. These are the people that are putting, and they don't put a little bit of money, they're putting billions and trillions of dollars a year behind these things so that these things can get to the masses. And they've taken very strong efforts in making sure that it's accessible for you. I mean, I remember when smartphones was a thing that only business people use, but now everyone has a smartphone. I remember most people had like the regular generic phones that just kind of text and called people, and people seem to be fine with that. I might be showing my age, but I remember when, the cell phones were free after 9 o'clock, and before that they were very expensive. But they've taken very strong efforts to make these things very accessible to people. I know I'm going on a rant right now. I know I'm talking that shit right now. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section about where I'm coming from. Like, that's what real means. Real, REEL, is right of esoteric enlightenment logos. You know what I'm saying? So that's what real actually means to me. Right of esoteric enlightenment logos. And the logos, like I said, is like a divine order. You know what I'm saying? And I recognize that stories are vessels of wisdom because they use these sacred languages and sacred symbols, and they give them to us in a certain discipline. They give them to us in a certain discipline. We see this thing everywhere in Hollywood. We see this thing matching with our so-called reality, the reality that we see pasted all over social media and in the news, in these homogenized spaces. And this is being projected to us. And they spend a lot of money projecting these things to us. This is not something that they allow to happen by chance. They actually drop these things purposely. They don't allow it to be caught up in chance. Like, for instance, I don't believe sports is by chance. I don't believe that I believe that the teams that win, it serves a certain symbolism. It serves a certain symbolism. Some may believe this is happening by chance. Okay. But I don't believe that a company or a group of companies would leave billions of dollars to chance, to whoever could run fastest or shoot the ball. You know what I'm saying? That's just not that notion doesn't stimulate my brain. What stimulates my brain is that, and what makes more sense is that all of it is curated. Like, even we can look at now, we're going to get into some shit real quick. we've talked about From, and I have the picture. I don't really have any pictures up right now. We just talking some shit. And right now we have the diner radio. So just take this as me coming through the diner radio, right? We look at our current times right now. You have different things happening, different movies being released. And could it be that film and literature and music and folklore and even modern media are reflections of what's going on, or is someone curating these events as the same way that they curate the movies and the music and the media and religion and folklore and so forth? Is it the same? And and why and does it happen by chance, or is all of this purposely being done? Like, you look at the Carmelo Anthony situation, the young brother that stabbed a football player at a track meet. In that case, you have twins. You have the one twin, witnesses say that he was holding his twin while he was bleeding out or whatever. And this happened right before the Sinners movie. It happened in the same month. And you have the Sinners movie is about twins. And one of them was known for carrying a knife, Stack. He's the twin that died. And then you have the aspect where the twin held his brother while he passed and bled out in his arms, just like it kind of mirrors that situation. Now, this situation happened weeks before, like 2 weeks before the movie Sinners dropped. But then you have the Carmelo Anthony brother is named after a basketball player. And you also have Michael B. Jordan, who played the twins, is also named after a basketball player. Now, fast forward over a year later, the trial for that case happens. And right before the trial for this case happens, there was a trial of a man who chased a Chinese store owner who chased down a black child and shot him, right? And he gets off for this murder. He shouldn't have been chasing him. That's my opinion, but we're going to leave opinions out of this. I'm just speaking facts right now. We're just going to speak facts. I'm not going to speak any of my opinion. Everything that I'm saying is facts. Did these things happen in the Sinners movie? Facts. Did these things happen in reality? Facts. These are facts. And these two cases end up coming right upon each other, weeks away from each other. And the owner of the store, his name was Chow, just like the Chinese people in the movie Sinners. Their name was Chow. Now, when you look at these things, all of these are facts. I'm not making anything up. I'm just pointing out these facts. And you can do with it what you want to do. You can do with it what you want to do with it. Let your minds use your fingers to type what you want to say in the comments. You know, I'm just pointing out the things. None of what I'm saying can be say, oh, that's a lie. I'm not going to give my opinion on any of these matters. For all we know, these matters could be curated. For all we know, because we know that the artwork behind these matters is most definitely curated. Millions of dollars are put behind these movies. And these movies are put out on specific times purposely to reflect reality and to draw in real dollars. They want our money, whether it's a streaming platform or whether it's a movie ticket, you know. So, you know, when you look at this, am I bugging or what here? Am I bugging or am I cooking? If I'm cooking, leave me a C in the chat. If I'm bugging, leave me a B in the chat. I'm a fall back for a minute and let y'all give me some C's or some B's real quick. If I'm bugging, let me know. If I'm cooking, let me know. Let me see the B's and C's in the chat. Ain't cool, cuz. We got 74 people in the building right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you put the B down there, you could mean I'm barbecuing. I'm cool with that too. But we in the mirror season. Definitely got to talk about that. Definitely got to talk about that. So are these events being curated? Why are they being curated? What is the purpose of this being curated in this way? What is the purpose of it? We know that these things are spells. We know that these things are incantations. And what is the incantation? What is the incantation's purpose? An incantation's purpose is to control an aspect of reality. That's what the purpose of it is. If you're doing a spell, that's what the purpose of your spell is, to control a certain aspect of reality. So I see somebody down there saying mass mind control. Mass mind control. I love that. I love that. Tallulah says, did y'all see the last episode of Widow's Bay with all the descendants listed, and there was a Tabitha, Sarah, and someone else? I'm like, yo, too many similarities with From. And you know what? This is what I'm speaking on. See, all of these companies work in tandem. They work together. I know this because my From content is being highly suppressed. However, I'm still getting views from the real ones. And here it is, right? We're looking at this, and I'm getting the strikes, and other people are getting these strikes as well from Paramount. And Paramount, we here in America view From through MGM, and some of them view it through one of those like Amazon Prime kind of deals where you can buy, you know, MGM along with the Primes, like the subscriptions that you can add on to your Prime or whatever. But in Canada and other places in the world, From is shown to them through Paramount. And so there's some sort of licensing agreement that has been made with Paramount, MGM, Amazon, and all of that, that allows Paramount V to come and throw copyright claims at certain content. And I don't know. To me, I'm going to just be real with you. The videos, it's happening to a lot of the From creators, okay? But the videos that are getting flagged on my account are like, why would you flag this one and not this one? Like, I have videos, when I first started, I really didn't know much about what I was doing. I was using long pieces of footage. I was using long pieces of content from the show, and those videos are still up. But these other videos where I learned, like, okay, use more pictures, more static images, and less actual footage and video of the show. And so that the video, but these are the videos that are getting snatched. But it's like, okay, but it's also what I'm saying in these videos as well. I'm making connections that are actually connected to the real world. No one can really argue that these things are in tandem. However, they're very eye-opening, or it raises your eyebrow when you look at the times and the things that these things were released and how the show comes together. The 9/11 symbolism is something that I've been talking about on the show since season 2. And for it to show up in this show on the 4/7 show is confirmation for me. But not only is it confirmation, it's like cement. It's like melted lava, straight up, because it dropped in there with the egg symbolism on top of it. So I just kind of felt like, damn, are they shouting it? Are they shouting it out or something? Are they shouting me out? What the fuck's going on? Because it was definitely there. I know that everybody was like, yo, somebody asked me one time, was they flagging it for inauthentic content? No, for inauthentic content, they're flagging those AI channels and they're like removing them unless they're bringing valuable content. Some of the AI pages are allowed to remain because the content is actually valuable, where it might be like a history channel and they use the AI voice. They probably use the AI to research all of the elements, write the script. They get the AI voice, and they have another AI that'll do the pictures and everything like that. They let a lot of those videos stay up, and those videos are valuable because some of the history in them, it tracks along with the history that they teach us in schools and shit like that, which I don't adhere to or subscribe to in totality either. You know what I'm saying? However, they allow those channels to stay up. It's like your AI slop channels. They've been getting zapped. You know what I mean? And the channels that pretty much are recycling other people's content and stuff like that. Like, just taking it's a whole channel with no, real rhyme or reason to it. They're just posting other people's videos. They've been smacking some of those down and stuff. But my channel in particular, it's an algorithm thing that they've cut the reach, and they're not sending it to my subscribers. And the funny thing is, I don't even get notifications for comments that much anymore on my side of the game. Like, usually when you get a comment in your video, you get a notification for that comment. And I'm not getting those. Like I'm getting them here and there. And then I'll go and look at that one and I'll see all these comments in it. I'm like, man, I didn't get notifications for any of these comments. So, I was told that there might be some shadow banning going on. So, but I'm not tripping off that. I'm going to continue to make the content. I'm not here for the views or anything. The purpose of my channel originally started to find people that looked at the show in the same way that I looked at the show from. But then it turned into, okay, they're dropping spells. I've always known that the movies are spells, and that's what I'm going to talk about. And that's pretty much what my channel is, and I talk about that. Some people come into the channel and they're like, man, you're way off with that theory. And I'm like, what theory are you talking about? Like, I'm pointing out symbolism in the show. I'm not really dropping theories all like that. Like, I drop the real enigmas, and then I drop some theories sprinkled in there. You know what I mean? And as far as my theories, I get a lot of theories right. You know what I'm saying? I actually strive to be wrong, but I've gotten a lot of theories right. But what is even more plentiful is the amount of symbolism that I've been pointing out in this show that continues to show up, like the egg symbolism, like the 47, 9/11, all of the Trump connections. Thomas Matthews is the name of the first Trump shooter. The first Trump shooting happened on July 13th, which is a 7 and a 4, July being the 7th month, 13 being 1 and 3 equaling 4, 7-4. This previous Trump shooting, the guy's name was also Thomas, right? And that shooting happened on 4/25, which is a 47. You have the 4 is April 25th, and 2 and 5 is 7. Like, and then the connection between Trump and 9/11. Trump is the 45th, which is 9. He's the 45th president and the 47th president. 47 is 11. You got the 9/11 right there. The Charlie Kirk situation. If you go look at my Snake Eyes video, I talked about the character who was the guy named Dunn who orchestrated everything. There was a guy named Dunn who was the first donator. The first person to donate to Charlie Kirk was a guy named Dunn. His last name was Dunn, right? Then you look at Sophia, the priest that she came into town with, his name was Pastor Dunn. So you got the Charlie Kirk symbolism tying into what we see with 9/11 and also 9/10. You dig what I'm saying? Because in the 20s that we see, I pointed out the 22s and the 99s, okay? The symbolism, Randall shows the 99 with his fingers all the time. Some people call it the 666 sign, but the way Randall shows it, if you invert it, it's the 99. He does the 99 all the time. When Victor was looking through the suitcase with Sarah in the tent, he pulled out the thing and he was doing the 99 symbol with his fingers. But you could look right there was a deck of cards that said 22. I told you the 22s and the 99s showing up real heavy, and the 20s. 9/11 equals 20. Okay. And so this is the symbolism thread that they are following. You have the 2. 9/11 equals 20. 11 is the 2 is the base number for 11. Because you add the ones together and you get 2. So they're doing these things for the duality. This is why you had Kamala Harris. She started her run for president 110 days before the election. That's another 11. You dig what I'm saying? You had as a matter of fact, the day that she announced her run 110 days, she dropped that book, 110 days. The day she started her run was the same day that they started filming the Institute. Pardon me, the Institute show. So you had the Institute show, and you had also the Institute dropped on the 1-year anniversary of the Trump shooting. So we cooking. All of these things definitely are tied together. You see what I'm saying? It's a level of predictive programming, if you will. But at the same thing, spiritual growth arises through that curiosity and discernment, the self-examination, the looking inward when you notice the patterns. This is how we notice these patterns. When you watch these shows, we have to understand that the objective to put this spell out there to you is for you to absorb this when it happens in reality. Because it's never us watching a show and then someone is actually predicting what they're going to do based on the show. It's always us looking at the event happens, and then we look back at the show and say, damn, the Trump shooter happened to be named Thomas Matthews. The symbol looks like the eclipses that happened on April 8th. The eclipse started in Nova Scotia before it hit America, and it went through Nineveh. It went through multiple cities named Nineveh. You know what I'm saying? The whole Nineveh in the Bible mirrors what's going on and from. You see, so you drop these things in, and you drop this happening into a land that has this scarred history and this trauma. And you got the Civil War soldiers who you choose to make this Civil War soldier a so-called Black Civil War soldier, a free man or a freed man. Either one, either way. Dropping the indigenous symbols in there with the spider and the grandmother spider. All of these, everything, all of this is things I was saying in my very first video. I continue to expound on those theories, or should I say, pattern recognitions of symbolism. And we see it all the way happening today on the show. I am so ready for tomorrow evening to see what is presented in episode 408, because the 408 is a 48, the 84, and it is the 12. Okay, the 4 and the 8 is the 12. And 12 has been heavy symbolism also thrown around, along with the Jewish mysticism and whatnot. You have the 12 also could be symbolic of the 12 tribes of Judah. You know what I'm saying? The Israelites, that whole Jewish mysticism that is being shed upon. I saw a rabbi once said to me that, and we were just in conversation at an airport. I was getting on a flight and I was coming home, and and he was in there, and I sat by him because I was looking for a place to charge my phone up. And it was almost like nobody wanted to sit by the guy. And I was like, fuck it, I need to charge my phone up. I'm gonna sit there with him. And I sat there with him. We got to talking, and I told him, I was like, yeah, I've studied the symbolism real heavy, on this discussion we were having. That's neither here nor there. But you know what he said to me? He says to me that the ancient rabbis knew that if you wanted to be closer to God, you had to do this through the symbolism. You had to do this through a connection with the symbolism. Now, we don't subscribe to the same thing, like him and I. I don't subscribe to what he believes in, and he doesn't subscribe to what my thoughts are. However, I've always felt that way. I've always felt like there's something about the symbolism, there's something about the patterns that we need to be paying attention to, because there's got to be a reason why they keep using this shit. There's got to be a reason why they put millions behind it. Why every one of your favorite singers, your bands, your rappers, your actors, your movies contains these symbolism. When you get on the bus, when you get on the train, when you get on the airplane, when you drive around in the city, when you walk around, you see the symbolism is everywhere. The stop signs, the octagonal patterns, the Vesica Pisces symbolism that we see, the same the Fibonacci square, the Fibonacci spiral that we can place in every single doorway, in every rectangle, in the screen that you're looking at, your phone, how your credit card is the same, the golden rectangle. All of these things are mirroring these things all around you. I always thought that there was something up with that shit. Am I bugging or am I cooking? Let me know. I started this channel because I didn't want to be alone in this thought pattern. I have those around me, my family, my friends that I talk to on the phone. We all kind of, talk about these things. You know what I mean? But I mean, I started this channel because I was looking for people that thought the same way. We gotta be cooking over here. It's 103 people in the building, y'all. Shout out to that. We started this stream a little early so that people that are in different time zones that can't really swing like the late night, and I may do this again tomorrow on Saturday for a pregame so that you guys can tune in as well. But I definitely had to talk about this. You know what I mean? This symbolism that is showing up in From is definitely trying to tell us something, and we should be paying attention. And it's not just From, it's anything that you're watching. Understand that each episode that you watch is probably 5 million or better of that's a low show. That's a low show. It's 5 million or better. You know what I mean? An episode. That's a low show. That's a cheap show, a low budget show. You know what I'm saying? Most of the shit that you guys are watching is $10, $15 million an episode. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a reason why you would find so much effort to maintain a pattern of symbolism in something that you're putting so much money into. Of course, it's something that we should be paying attention to. Of course, we should be aware of the symbolism and the spells that are cast. And of course, we should just chalk it up and understand like why a channel like this would be suppressed. You know, obviously, there's something that I'm saying that they're like, yo, you know, maybe that's too much. They know they can't stop people from talking about these things. However, you know, they have their mechanisms, you know, of drowning it out. But yo, I'm thankful for every one of you that come through. You know what I'm saying? I'm thankful for every one of you that come through. Let me hop down in the chat, see what y'all writing down here real quick. Because I'm way up in the chat. So I need to scroll down a little bit. Hold on. Let me see where y'all at with it. Hey, Lord Corey said, from ain't my thing, but real is cooking. Oh, no, charge it to my brain and not to my heart. No, indeed. Indeed. Hey, Lord Corey. You know what I'm saying? Good to see you here, as always. We got to find something else. Yes, the 12 tribes. The 12 tribes. Call me either too spoilery. Like, yo, dig it. Okay, hold on. What happened there? Hold on. Let's look. Oh, we got Luna Cascade in the building. Dang, I just realized Real was live at work watching. Yo, shout out to that. Yes, indeed. I'm off today. So I said, yo, I'm not really doing anything. My daughter turned 5 yesterday. So like, you know, I'm really, I was hanging out with the fam. We had a good time, really good time. You know what I mean? Only 55 likes out of 100 people. Come on now. You know what's up. Come on, like that thing. Don't worry about it. It's free. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Yo, not from creating a not from is a recreation of our reality. Yo, you know what? Not to cut the wisdom on this comment real quick, but John Griffin, can anyone find the interview where John Griffin said that his writing is starting to match up with the real world? Can somebody please find me that? Terrence said that John Griffin said that in an interview recently, and he said that he can't find it. I can't find that shit either, but he said I've watched every single one of them, and I know that he said that. That's what Terrence told me last time. Not last time I talked to him, but in passing we talked, and that's what he said to me. So if anybody can find that, if any of you are out there that are the ones that like watch those interviews like Taryn does and watches all of the interviews, please find that for me. I would love to see the context of what he was talking about when he said that. Because yeah, Thomas Matthews is crazy. You know what I'm saying, y'all? Like the Thomas Matthews connection with him being the Trump shooter is crazy, y'all. And also, John Griffin had a cameo in the Institute, and they started filming the Institute on the day that Kamala ran. Kamala was talking about how much she loved Venn diagrams, and Jade was saying Venn diagrams in the show as well. I was surprised we didn't see Jade draw a Venn diagram. I really thought that we would see that. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually look and comb through every frame. We would probably see somewhere where he did do that. He probably did. I wouldn't be surprised, you know. It seems like that's what he was trying to do with these 2 pieces of glass. He broke the glass and picked up these 2 pieces of glass and did like a Vesica Pisces with them. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is crazy here. You know what I'm saying? Like the symbolism is everywhere. Even with Roger, the Vesica Pisces right pointing at his head, then the egg situation is what was used to bring him to life. You know, I used to think that we are like that we as creators say things in our videos and the showrunners see it and they say, you know what, I'm not gonna put that in there. I know for a fact that some of the actors watch my channel. I know that for a fact because one of them told me. You know, one of them told me on Instagram. Reed Price said, "Yeah, man, everybody watches your channel. We watch you. We watch Tony. You know what I'm saying." He named off a list of channels that they watch, and so I know they caught me with the egg theory, with the egg symbolism last season, and then for them to double down and put that in the 47 stuff, because right after season 3 is when I really turned up on the whole Trump 47, all that. That's when I really turned up on that. At the time, I had just received the screeners for the show Earth Abides. So I know that even like, you know, when you get screeners from a PR company, when you get the screeners, they assign somebody to your channel to watch your channel to make sure you're not spoiling shit, all that, you know, to make sure you're agreeing to what you said you would not do if they give you the screeners. And so here you have it. You know, I was like, damn. Now, them announcing, you can't tell me any time where From has ever brought a new character on the show and announced the name of that character. They announced that they're bringing new actors and actresses on the cast. We got those announcements when the bus rolled into town at the end of season 1. You know, after season 1, we got the announcements, but they never announced the name of a character being Sophia. And Sophia is something that I talked about along with the Baphomet real heavy last year. I talked about that real heavy. I even talked about it in my Severance stuff, but I talked about Sophia in my From videos. And then they bring a character on and name her Sophia. And she's pretty much, you know, like the Baphomet character being the male and female, the as above, so below shot during the transformation. You have the egg symbolism. You have the Solve et Coagula situation with her even breaking. If you know about the Baphomet has Solve et Coagula tattooed on his forearms, and Sophia breaks her forearm. So it's like, yo, the symbolism is definitely there. I know I'm not tripping. Like, they definitely put that in there. Taryn is in the building. Taryn is in the building. Luna, what did Luna say? Hey, Taryn, we're in your zone. Ah, yes, indeed. And as a matter of fact, I was just about to say, I've been cooking for about 53 minutes. Let me go ahead and see if anybody wants to come up and join and chat with us. I know we got a couple people here. Oh, Demo is in the building as well. You know what I'm saying? We got we got Taylor in the building. You know what I'm saying? Taylor might come up if she has the time. You know, shout out to that. Shout out to that. Okay, whose birthday is it? Oh, y'all talking about Real Junior? Oh yeah. Happy birthday to my little girl. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay. We are thankful for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm a reflection of you. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm a reflection of you. Since we talking about reflections, since we talking about mirrors, I'm a reflection of you. I wouldn't be cooking this hard if people wasn't like adding on and giving me that energy, like they're receiving what I'm saying. I'd be like, okay, like people aren't really taking me seriously. I'm not gonna put too much effort, you know. But you guys really make me want to cook. That's why in my opinion, I don't drop a video unless I'm satisfied with it. If I'm not satisfied with my work, I won't drop it. I can't say that I have any videos that I haven't dropped. You know what I'm saying? So like you guys are what fuels me. I'm a reflection of you. Y'all come through and we cook. We cook. You know what I mean? But the things that I'm independently saying, like I said, I'm not going to give my opinion on these situations. This is not the place for that. However, these situations are happening, and I think it reflects what time we're in. Like, I'm going to go over it again. Oh, we got Taryn in the building. We got Taryn in the building. What's up, my brother?
Hey, Real, how you doing?
All is well. All is well. Thank you for joining. What's going on?
Well, I'm looking forward to the next episode. Really, from what I'm hearing, down the pipe, is that basically there's some YouTubers who have watched it and have done spoiler-free reviews, and it sounds like all the craziness is towards the end of the season. So I still feel like we're going to be waiting for any big reveals. But next episode, who knows? Maybe we'll get something. What I think is the most interesting thing of all, and I think we need to discuss it, and I don't know if you've already discussed it, so forgive me for bringing it up again if you already have. The fact that in Tabitha's memory of Miranda, she is driving a different car to the one Miranda remembers. That is very suspicious. That is very unusual.
Yes, it is.
What we are seeing is Tabitha driving Christopher's car. Sorry, Miranda driving Christopher's car.
And why would that be, you think?
Well, let's think about this for a moment. Victor has, okay, so let's talk about memories for a second, okay? We know that Victor has said dreams are I thought he said that he thought memories were dreams. Sorry, he thought that the things that he was seeing were just dreams, but they must in fact be memories, right?
Right.
So, and the fact that Victor does not remember 40 years of his life is extremely weird. There must be something more than trauma that means he doesn't remember 40 years, So maybe there is something that can manipulate memories through dream powers. Now, we know that there are dream powers in this world because when people fell asleep, they would be, burst open from the inside, right? So there's some sort of being with dream powers. It can give you visions. We've already seen that Henry is having a really vivid dream vision of himself as a coma patient. So clearly there is something in this world that can manipulate people's memories. And if that is true, and if we are to take Christopher at his word when he says this place lies,
everything lies here.
Maybe reincarnation is real, but the memories that Tabitha is having might be fake.
Yo, you know what I think?
Yeah.
I think that now I've been saying this now, that this channel has been saying this. And as a matter of fact, I do have something up on the screen here. But last time I think I showed you my diagram for my theory about the cycles. Victor says that he thought that some of the stuff was dreams, but they were actually memories, right? Okay, because he remembered things over and over again. This explains why the monsters know the people's names. They don't have telepathy. They're not looking into people's brains and knowing their names or any of that stuff, okay? All of this is happening over and over again. That's why they know all of their names. If they had telepathy, then for sure, when the people were hiding underground in these little bunkers and hiding under the porches and shit like that, the monsters would have just been able to go pick everybody off, right? Because they would have known where people were. They would have known. But these things happen over and over again, but they happen slightly different. Now, I'm thinking that may be what's going on and why we see Miranda driving Christopher's car. But here's the even more strange thing, right? Why is this vision of her in Christopher's car happening while she's looking at Miranda's car? Why is Miranda's car jogging the vision? I'm thinking it's because these things have happened multiple times over and over. I've shown you that the Matthews drove into town in 2 different RVs. I showed you the light poles and at the train tracks and the mechanical mechanism. The little barn that's next to the shed or the barn, the little shed that's next to the barn, it disappears and reappears in the very first episode. And the creators say that the answer is right there on is right there. The answer is right there in the first episode. Sorry about that.
So repeating cycles with some variation between them in a great big loop.
Right. So you have
I've seen your diagram.
Right.
So
So you've seen the diagram. So there each cycle is happening over and over again, along with the whole reincarnation situation. And it seems confusing.
I think it's a lot, man. I just think it's a
I know it seems confusing. It seems a lot. But the thing about it is, it's one of those kind of things that is confusing until they show it to you and prove it to you on the show. Like, okay, you'll be like, okay, this is happening to them over and over again, but you still got this reincarnation thing that's happening. And this is it because then it explains why Jade is only seeing a certain few numbers of his reincarnations. Why isn't he seeing the whole many of the reincarnations? Why isn't he seeing a bunch of?
I don't know, man. I'm starting to think that all this would be the worst thing for the show to do. But what if we find out that all the answers we've been given so far, all of which have arrived Deus ex machina in people's heads, it is a classic telling instead of showing. It's literally just having information arriving in people's brains. I mean, it is the weakest form of information delivery, like the least original, I guess. And it's just very weak for me. Maybe every vision we've had, except for Fatima's memory, is fake.
I'm sorry about laughing. Golden Child says, Terrence says it seems like a lot.
Well, I think well, hang on a second. When I say it seems like a lot, I just think it means, I think it would be very, very hard for the average person to understand it, I guess, is my my perspective on that. It's not so much that I don't like it. I think it's a very interesting theory. I just wonder what the point of it is, if that makes sense.
Okay, so all right, so dig this.
Variations.
Okay, so the reason why is because, okay, you have that Vesica Pisces symbolism, but not only that, it also symbolizes what our cosmology says, right? Our cosmology says that the earth goes around and around and does these cycles every day. And it does 365 degrees of them 365 of them while going in a complete circle, right? It's kind of like the same idea. And you said yourself that John Griffin had like 4 walls of information and lore, right? And I bet you somewhere on that wall he has a diagram that looks like mine.
Sure, but I guess what my question is to you is, why have these cycles with slight variations in the story at all? Why have people have memories of different cycles rather than their own, if that makes sense?
No, it's not different cycles. It's the same cycles. And I think that the cycles don't happen just because it's designed like that. I think that the cycles end up happening because of the ancient magic and techniques that they use to combat the energy that's keeping them there or that traps them in this place. And so that's like, for instance, like the cycles begin to happen because of the story walking and shit like that.
Okay, so okay. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like the cycles and the shit starts happening over, because I mean, just look at it, right? The second in episode 102, the monster's asking Julie, "Don't you remember me?" Like, okay, so they're setting that up. I think Julie was always supposed to story walk, so that's an element that was embedded in. If you look at Julie showing up to Jim's death, she even says it. I think this is when it's supposed to happen. So it's obviously had happened before. And the Julie that story walked back there is the Julie that we're looking at learn her whole like story walking abilities and whatnot. So she ends up going back, and these are the actions that make the cycle continue. Even Victor says it itself. I thought I was dreaming and shit, but I was remembering it. Ethan makes up the Lake of Tears. I see so many creators saying that the Lake of Tears comes from the Chronocle book, and it doesn't. The Lake of Tears is some shit that Ethan made up. Ethan made up the Lake of Tears with him and Julie made up the Lake of Tears. And Ethan even says that I thought I made it up, but now I think I remember it. It's just like Victor saying, I thought these were dreams, but now I think they're memories. This is why Victor drove the picture of Boyd bringing the goat out of the forest. But during that flashback, we didn't see Victor anywhere near or anything like that. I think it happened before. Victor remembers it. It was a point in time where he was there, where he did show up. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like my explanation of it, like what would the purpose be? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's leave that aside for now. I would like to share a very crazy theory with you, if that's okay.
Yes, indeed. Please do.
It's about the pyramids.
Oh, we got Ace Nation in the building. Ace Nation, hold up, bro. But yo, what's going on? Hold on, bro. We got Ace Nation in the building. But all right, now go ahead, drop your information. Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, I'm sharing it, or I think I am, or I'm about to.
Hold on, let me remove mine. There we go. Boom, go for it.
All right, so everyone's seen the Julie's wig memes, right?
Yes.
Because it is objectively a bad wig, I think, at this stage. We can agree.
Oh, most definitely.
Sometimes it looks okay, but sometimes it looks awful.
All the time.
Okay. Anyway, and what if the wig is supposed to look like Cleopatra's haircut? You know,
I love it.
What if and you know, they're showing us the pyramids to be like, okay, guys, listen to this. You know, there's pyramids and stuff. So what if I told you that Cleopatra was a big part of my theory? And I'm going to show you how it all connects. Okay, so bear with me. Please have patience. Sorry, it's a little long-winded, but here we go. So Cleopatra's actors in every time it's depicted, they wear these heavy, fake-looking wigs, right? Because they were fake. And Julie sits wrong on her head. And we've seen the pyramids multiple times. You know, they show it to us not once, but twice. Once with Boyd, once with Acosta. So they're clearly saying, guys, ancient Egypt is somehow connected to this, potentially. So, when Cleopatra died, in 30 BC, ancient writers said she was buried alongside her lover, Roman general Mark Antony, in a hidden tomb in Alexandria. And that tomb has never been found. In fact, anyway, now we need to jump forward to medieval Scotland, 1330. Okay, there was a powerful family of the Scottish nobility called the Sinclairs. And they were crusaders, the kind of family that brought treasures home. And one of them, Sir William Sinclair, died in battle while carrying the embalmed heart of the late Scottish king, Robert the Bruce, into a holy war because Bruce had wanted his heart taken on crusade. Now, real, you got to agree with me, there are many, many heart clues on the show. You know, Donna's sudden heart attack, hearts woven into song lyrics.
Even Donna stabbing the doll in the heart.
Exactly. Christie's rock has a heart on it. You know, the Bell and Colony House has a heart.
Julie had the sweater with all the hearts on it when she was talking to Elgin at the pool.
Exactly. And so they may have kept this embalmed heart, you know, this holy relic taken on crusade. And keep treasure hunting in mind, because think of it like Victor doing treasure hunting. Doesn't Victor do a lot of treasure hunting on this show, Rio?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've discussed.
Now we've got Acosta, Boyd putting Acosta to the treasure hunting as well.
Mm-hmm. So, oh yes, indeed.
The entire Colony House is going on a treasure hunt in the diner and in the basement.
Yes, and Victor's constantly digging stuff up and gathering jewelry
Wait,
and watches.
check this out. Check this out. Wait, I want to stop you right there for a second. Put a pin right where you are. I just want to point this out to you. I know you remember this. I told you that they would be doing a treasure hunt and they would find some of the items that are in your theory. Do you remember me telling you that?
Yes, I remember you said that they would be in the world of From and not in the real world.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's what you said. So where was I? Yes, so that's one member of the Sinclair family. Now we jump forward to when Peter of Cyprus led a crusade that sacked the city of Alexandria. And this is where Cleopatra was buried. This is very important. And Scottish knights were proven to be among the attackers. We know that. We have their names. They were there. And the Sinclair family legend, its tradition, places a young Henry Sinclair right there with them. So the same guy who had the heart, the son of the guy who had the heart, he's also going on a crusade, and he ends up in Alexandria, according to Sinclair tradition. So what if in the sack, when Alexandria was being sacked, Sinclair found Cleopatra's tomb and went in and took ancient Egyptian relics from it? What did ancient Egyptians keep? The embalmed organs of their rulers. Dried cats were very often kept in ancient Egypt, and we've seen a lot of cat clues. Mark Antony, who was buried with her, may have had a legion's eagle standard with him, which was a legion's most sacred object, and is likely the answer to why there is an eagle drawn in Ellis's room in one of the drawings. And what's really interesting is that these would have also gone to Scotland to join the family treasury. So bear with me. Doesn't Jim read Ethan a bedtime story about a black cat basking in the sun?
Yes, he does.
And isn't that like a dried, mummified cat?
Yes,
You know.
basking in the sun, the dried. It's talking about the yes, indeed. Right.
Don't people get bandaged all the time on this show? There's
Absolutely.
constantly people being bandaged up and things.
Wrapped
They
up.
talk about bandages. Yeah, they say stuff like wrapped up. Let's get you cleaned up. Let's get you wrapped up.
You wrapped up. Let's get you cleaned up. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
All right. So what also happened around this time? Around the same time, a famous order of warrior monks called the Knights Templar, who I'm sure you know a lot about, Real, they were destroyed by the Pope. He was in cahoots with the French king. They wanted to basically take all of the Templars' money and holdings. So they accused them of heresy, and the Knights Templar had to run away. And legends say, where did they seek refuge? That they fled by sea in 13 ships and hid with the Sinclairs, and they brought their own hoard of sacred relics.
Facts.
So what are the relics that the Templar are said to have? The Spear of Longinus, the nails that wounded Christ on the cross, the Ark of the Covenant, and the Holy Grail. And how many cups and cheersing and people drinking from cups do we see on this show? It's all the time. People handing mugs to each other. Nails. We've seen nails all the time. Boyd is constantly touching nails, picking up nails, hammering nails into things. Of course, we've got Martin saying that the creatures are just the tip of the spear. Well, the Spear of Longinus, its tip was what pierced Christ's side. And of course, there's lots of there's a reference to the Ark of the Covenant here, where we have Noah's Ark on Ethan's poster. Maybe it's a clue to the word Ark. So now we have one Scottish family, and this is all true legend, by the way. I'm not making
this is all facts. Yeah, I know.
Legend, right? So now one Scottish family is sitting on both ancient Egyptian relics and the holiest objects in Christianity. Okay, Cleopatra's organs, maybe her liver, maybe her gallbladder, right? With the bile, whatever. We've got the dried organs of the monsters. You know, maybe they're emulating the organs of that created the spell, that powers their magic. Whatever, we don't know, but these are some things that have been percolating in my mind here. So they've also got the embalmed heart of Robert the Bruce, an ancient Scottish king, and it's a holy object because it was taken on crusade. You know, we've got the ancient relics of Christendom here. So these are very powerful holy objects, right? So now we need to jump back in time a little bit. Leif Erikson went to Newfoundland in the year 1000. This is why Fatima mentions the town of Duluth when she talks about her cross-dressing friend Charlie, because Duluth is known for its Leif Erikson Park and famous ship's replica. He built a church there. His sister Freydis commits a massacre. I'm just giving you a little link to say Newfoundland is important. We need to link to it. So why is the Henry Sinclair famous? Well, around the year 1400, Henry Sinclair is said to have sailed across the Atlantic a century before Columbus and reached Newfoundland, just like Leif Erikson,
like Leif Erikson, yeah,
like John Cabot, just like the Corte
right.
Real brothers. Okay, and so, and this is called the Zeno brothers narrative. So he went to Newfoundland with 2 Italian explorers, and legends say that he took the entire treasury of the Templar with him and buried it in Newfoundland, far from where any king or pope who might come looking. And this is actually what that TV show, The Curse of Oak Island, is about. Where
This
did
is
they
also the time period that the Changeling was talking about as well. It even has a character named Leaf in it, right?
Yes,
The
it does.
photographer's name was Leaf.
Yes, exactly.
So, like, all right. So, the legend has it that each time these people ended up in Newfoundland is because the waters took them that way. So something guided them that way and made them, because it was too treacherous or tumultuous for them to go another way, and so they had to go to Newfoundland, and that's where it happened every time.
And maybe some variation of a lighthouse is what pulls people in to the island of Newfoundland. So then we need to jump forward to the year 1498. So Henry Sinclair has hidden all of these treasures in Newfoundland somewhere. Maybe he buried them in Leif Erikson's church that would have been left there after Vinland was abandoned by the Vikings. So there's John Cabot's lost colony. Maybe they've washed up on shore in a storm. Maybe they've hit an iceberg, just like the Titanic, but they're struggling, and they take shelter in this church built by the Vikings. This what a surprise for them to find a church. It must have seemed like a miracle to them to find a church in the New World, before as far as they were concerned, any Christian man ever set foot there. And they find the holy relics of Christendom buried in the church. Can you imagine the holy fervor that would have taken over this colony to find the Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant, the Christ's nails, the Spear of Longinus, Robert the Bruce's hearts, and then also all these ancient Egyptian relics? It must have been insane to them. And then what happens? Among them is a cunning folk woman, a village folk magic practitioner. It is now confirmed to me the magic that is being used by the man in yellow, I believe it to be cunning folk magic. I believe that outside of Viking tooth lucky charms, cunning folk tooth magic is about the closest equivalent I can find. It's generally
along with voodoo. Along with hoodoo.
Yes, that is true, but I feel like some of what we're seeing feels very Christian, and the cunning folk magic was within a Christian context. So I don't know. I think that it's interesting. And remember that the Pratt family, and don't get me wrong, I think hoodoo is deeply involved in this. I just don't think necessarily that that's the magic that's being used by the man in yellow. I think it's the magic that's being used against the man in yellow.
Ooh, okay. So you're talking about bottle trees and whatnot.
Yes, potentially. So, but in any case, I think that in this scenario, there is an inquisition. There is a witch who is burned using the Hammer of Witches guidebook as to how to torture and interrogate a witch. And of course, we've seen torture with a hammer. The book was called The Hammer of Witches. I believe that a cunning folk woman, who is actually typically a white witch, so not an evil witch, they're actually an anti-witch. But in the context of this story, where an Italian friar, who would have been the priest in this scenario, Carbonarius, who genuinely was an Italian friar who went to the New World with John Cabot, right, and was never seen again, right? This guy would have seen English cunning folk magic as witchcraft, even though it was actually white magic. So she gets accused of being a witch, she gets burned, she gets tortured, etc. But she leaves a trap, right? And that trap is a witch's bottle and a witch's ladder, which is basically a knotted cord with lots of objects tied to it. And I believe that she uses Christ's nails, the tip of the Spear of Longinus, the Holy Grail. She ties it all together around a
Yes.
witch bottle, and she buries it underneath the church. And when the ritual happens with the children, the spell is triggered and it sucks everyone into Fromland. And that is
Okay, so you're looking at Jade has been the one symbolically giving us this witch's ladder. First, we saw with all of the string and rope that he tied up, and
And
he
the
was laying
bottles.
under it, and the bottles with the
Yes.
witch's bottle. We also see him now dealing with the electric cords and arranging them in a certain way.
Yeah.
And he said, this is what will help me tie this all together. So he's
Yeah.
talking, he's giving the witch's ladder symbolism through that as well. I'm totally tracking where you at with it.
Now
I see
wait,
that.
there's more. There's more.
Okay,
Think
go
about
for it.
this.
Go for it.
In Cunning Folk Magic, did you know that a protective spell would be to bury a dead cat in the on the threshold, underneath the threshold?
Yeah, so cat sacrifice.
So no, but think about it. We've got a Cleopatra's mummified dead cat, right? That would be a very holy, powerful form of burying that dead cat underneath the threshold of the church, because she's using holy objects as part of her white magic. So it tracks very well that this dead cat may be inside a box of some kind buried under the threshold of the church. So finally, I would like to say this. I made all of these connections before season 3, right?
Yes.
Before we even met Marielle.
Yes, before
Right?
we even met Marielle.
And guess what was revealed later on in season 3? What is
That her
Marielle?
last name was Sinclair.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Before we even met her. And yo, so no, I'm tracking with you 100%. Taylor, I know, has jumped in the chat from the chat. She's jumped in. Thank you for joining us, sis. I already know why you're here to cook, because of the Cleopatra situation. I'm assuming.
No, you got it. You got it.
Okay. I already knew. I wanted to say something as well, but I want to let you build first since you just got here.
All right. So I enjoyed hearing the Cleopatra symbolism because it connects back to when Boyd looks through the viewfinder and sees the pyramids. So that's the whole theory that you've had tied to not only Egypt, because I noticed another scene with the milkman and Kenny. It mirrors the ancient Egyptian Ankhs. So when he places it through the milkman, milk is also, a sign of fertility, but also him putting it through him kind of resembles like the Jed Pillar and Osiris in the resurrection of the sun.
And
So
Cleopatra bathed in milk, didn't she?
yes,
Famous.
exactly. So I had a few comments that I put in the chat, but it was referring to Tabitha, right? Because Tabitha is driving Miranda's body or vice versa. And she represents the resurrected mother, hence the Ankhui children, which I think a lot of people have already said and referenced. But Jim, in this case, would be the resurrected Osiris. But he's the one who died. So Horus is reborn through Ethan, which is why I think that's symbolic of him picking up the bird and wanting to take it to the Lake of Tears. The resurrection of the feminine energy, especially in relation to America, Boyd carrying the torch, it kind of mirroring the Statue of Liberty. That's very Promethean-like language, like giving fire to the humans that was stolen from the gods, but through the Walking Dead.
Yeah, we see the man in yellow eating the liver, which is very reminiscent of Prometheus, who obviously has his liver pecked out by eagles on the regular. Another connection to the eagle symbology there in Ellis's room.
Yes, and I'm seeing just a lot of mirror symbolism for the 250th year of America and them choosing to reveal this on the 47th episode as 47 in the periodic table denotes silver, a metal ruled by the moon, and the monsters coming out at night. So an attack on the subconscious mind.
Oh, absolutely. That's crazy. You and I were talking about this earlier about the symbolism of the boxing match that's supposed to take place at the White House, and I brought up the connection to the slavery and forced, like the Mandingo fights, is the origin of boxing, and to have that at the White House is crazy. But not only that, you have all of this symbolism arriving around Trump's birthday as well, it's just like, and then the episode drops on Trump's birthday, y'all. So be looking for the symbolism that the next episode is on Trump's birthday. So it's locked in.
Julie also being the story walker and having to go through the arch, I think is significant because they're having an arch in front of this UFC fight, which also, represents doors or gateways. And so when she goes under this arch, she's able to enter into the story, maybe not to change it, but to bring some awareness to it. So I definitely noticed that too with the Cleopatra symbolism, because it's literally the resurrection of Isis, who Cleopatra was associated with.
Mm.
I'll tell you, I don't know much about the Egyptian mythology, even though I have been to Egypt, and I've even been in the hidden chamber underneath the Great Pyramid on my own at night, because I was very fortunately granted access, because it's typically closed to the public, that space. So that was very interesting to go down there. But I don't know ancient Egyptian mythology as well as you do, clearly. But what I would say is, in my theory, across different times in history, not just the Viking timeline, but also like ancient Greek timelines with Odysseus, ancient sort of Persian timelines with Sinbad, I believe that like in ancient historical sort of mythology, various heroes go to Newfoundland and encounter the monsters that live there, that take on the form of the nightmares or beliefs or dreams of the people who are visiting that place. And I believe that one of the timelines, Egyptian Punt, is basically the equivalent of Newfoundland. So it would be the ancient Egyptian expedition that went to this mysterious island called Punt, where they encountered all sorts of interesting things. I think that in the lore of From, in that timeline, the monsters take on the roles of various ancient Egyptian gods. So I don't know if that connects to anything that you're thinking about, but that is one part of my theory, if it interests you.
I think so, just because the structure of America symbolized goes back to this exact structure. If you've seen the back of the American dollar, the pyramid with the apex missing and being the eye, with is it Elgin, his symbolism with losing the eye to descend into madness, to gain awareness and sight again, and the different characters he's combining with definitely tells a story as well. And then I have the picture of the goddess Nut, who would be the symbolism. She's not Isis. She's just another version of her, but of the celestial cosmos.
Right. And her husband, Sho, and her son, Jed's legs represent the mountains. His tears represent the lakes. That's crazy, because that connection definitely rings Lake of Tears. Her husband holds her by the vagina and breast up in the air. The god Sho. The sun represents the land and the water. Yo, this is fire here with y'all cooking. And just to speak to two things. Taryn said that all of this is contained inside of a witch's bottle. And I agree.
A broken witch's bottle. Did you notice in the poster of for season 3, the bottle that was hanging was broken?
Yes.
Top of it was broken.
Also,
I believe. Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was thinking what happens is, in John Cabot's time, he would have created this colony, and then there would have been the arrival of the Portuguese explorers, the Corte Real brothers, in 1502 and 1503. What I believe might happen is that the witch's bottle sucks everyone into it, and there it is, a bottle in the middle of the church. Everyone's inside it, and it's got all these relics attached. And when the conquistadors find this place, and they've just captured a whole bunch of indigenous people, and they actually took those people back to Portugal as slaves, I believe that they also sack the church, and they basically take most of the holy objects off, and they break the bottle in the process. And so the bottle is allowing the monsters trapped inside to influence the outside world and pull people in. And that's what I think is happening.
And I think I agree with you about it being a container. I think that the container is egg shaped. I think it's an egg shaped container. Like,
I
where,
think an egg is one of the objects that is tied to the witch's bottle. So just if it helps, I think
indeed.
I think it's one of the. I think that it's a special egg as well. I just don't know why it's special. It might even be. Yeah, I don't know why it's a special egg, but I think it would be.
The egg symbolism is real heavy, and your the Templars connections. These are real world connections that you've connected to the show, items on the show, certain items and phrases that have been spoken on the show that allude to these connections. Um, Last season I was really heavy speaking about the egg symbolism. I spoke about it in season 2, but we really dived into it in season 3, and the way that it materialized was Fatima ultimately laying an egg. Now, with the connections that you're noticing that you've been speaking about since season 2, before we even knew who Marielle was and everything, before the character was even an afterthought, we you were bringing these things out about the Sinclair, the Templars, the items, and
And did
such.
you see the crosses in the barn? They are not Christian crosses. They are Templar shaped
Yeah,
crosses.
Templar crosses, the crosses in the barn. Like, I think it's 3 of them, like, all together or something like that. Yeah, I saw those as well. The Templar crosses. Okay, so also you have all right, so my theory is that there's an ancient order. Now, you talked about the Templars being an ancient order that was disbanded by the Pope, and then they associated themselves. They disbanded in many different ways, and continued their information passing through various ways. Like, it kind of disappeared into a bunch of different other organizations. And so my theory is that Ronde Move is a part of an ancient organization that has to do with monitoring from, or they know about from, or something is being done on the outside that coincides with from. I'm wondering if Christopher has anything to do with that. Because I'm looking at there's some inconsistencies that I thought about this show. It's like, it doesn't make sense to me at certain angles. Like, I look at the age difference between Miranda and Christopher. And I mean, who knows? They could have been reincarnated at different times. But then we add the little Tabitha aspect, or the little girl that she's having these memories of. So is she reincarnated into this little girl too? Because how does that work if she is, supposed to be a woman that had children and things like that? So, the inconsistencies with the whole Tabitha background.
Reincarnation and bloodlines are so messy, and we've got why did Bacta's grandmother know the nursery rhyme? Huh?
And why are they not like on her about that?
I thought that this was ancestral memory. That's what I thought. I thought that her visions were her ancestor, not her previous incarnation. That's what I thought was happening, is that she could remember the memories of her ancestors. And that's what Miranda saw as well. And I'm hoping that the reincarnation shit is just stuff that the man in yellow has used visions to put in their heads, that Tabitha is in fact Eloise, and that everything that we've learned about reincarnation is just bullshit put into people's heads. And like Christopher said, this place lies. That's what I'm hoping, but I don't think it's real. I don't think that's what's actually happening. I'm coping. I'm coping with a mechanism that I really don't like, because I really don't like reincarnation. I think it's a really bad mechanism for storytelling. I mean, real, in your head, is Miranda Tabitha? Are they the same person?
In my head, according to the show, yes. I go along with what they're saying at the present time. I do believe that she has been reincarnated or
But I
some
mean, in terms of,
sort of ancestral memory.
I don't mean in terms of the lore of the show. I just mean in terms of how you feel about them. Do they feel like the same person? To me, they're
No,
two completely distinct individuals. The
no.
reincarnation thing is completely abstract. The only thing that matters is that memory is transferred from one person to another. That is literally and like flashes of them that wouldn't change your personality. You know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
so weird.
Flashes of them that doesn't actually deal with the personality of the person having the flashback. Like Tabitha's not thinking she's a little girl right now and having and she even says it. I remember. So she has access to certain memories. And I don't know. Now let's ask this question.
I got something too on that.
Go for it.
Well, the same way the gods and goddesses in Egypt were depicted, each of them were there to carry a different form of memory. So, I mean, in terms of storytelling, because these mythologies are tied to real concepts of the human brain, of mitosis, she's not supposed to carry the same. Like, for example, Miranda carrying a boy and a girl and coming back to the same town. It's like, it's the split in the mirroring. And so when you guys were talking about the Knights Templar, there were rumors in Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code that Christ, in this sense, had a wife, and it was Magdalene, and she ran to France to give birth to twins. So twins, essentially, you know, is already a spiritual energy being split. But I believe like she's driving the vehicle, and I, in the comment section, I compared it to the vehicle or the car being the chariot of Ezekiel as described in biblical terms. But it's sort of a concept with the pyramids of as above, so below. So it's going to mirror the same events, but they're not going to happen the same way because each new choice is a fork in the road. And so when Tabitha left, she was typically like the Inanna story. Her descent into chaos and being able to rise back out of that includes her children, and they become mirrors of the same energy.
Indeed, indeed. I do want to ask this question to both of you and get your thoughts on this. If the show has introduced this whole concept of reincarnation, they've leaned into it by even having Jay go on a mushroom trip and confirm that he's been reincarnated into many different lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they are going to make that something that this place is lying to them about, what does that say for the show? Like, do you think that they'll lead the audience in that direction and then make a sharp left turn?
Okay, well, let me ask you this, right? Okay, imagine you're the showrunners, and your big reveal is that Eloise is Tabitha, right? And that Eloise has time traveled into the future, lived in the real world as Tabitha, blah, 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 right? Remember my original crazy theory?
Yes.
Okay, so imagine that and I wasn't the first person to suggest that, right? A lot of people had said it, even though they hadn't explained how. I had a whole, mechanism for how it would be real. But, a lot of people had guessed it. So when everyone's trying to figure out who's going to, is Tabitha Eloise, etc., they realized that one of their big twists was something that loads of people are going to say, oh, I knew it. So what if they were like, let's create this reincarnation bullshit line so that when we reveal Tabitha as Eloise, it completely shocks everyone because they all thought that she was Miranda. And I got to say one more thing. What's interesting about these memories is that technically the memories that Tabitha has of Miranda, they could have been from Eloise's perspective. They could have been Eloise seeing Miranda getting attacked in the woods, hiding in the bushes. It could be Eloise sitting in the passenger seat looking at her mom driving. That's the POV that we're seeing. I still wonder whether Tabitha could be Eloise, and that this entire reincarnation thing is a hallucination put into their minds in the same way that the man in yellow has put hallucinations into Henry's minds, and that they're just fucking with them.
Taylor, what are your thoughts on that? Like, I agree with you, Taryn, on so many of those points that you made. It would make sense that if they were going to reveal that Tabitha is in fact Eloise and she did get out and she became this person, and that would make sense to why she would give her child this Chronocle book and books that kind of ring these situations. And Jim reading them to her. A lot of that would make sense. I like it. I think it would be fucked up for them to make a sharp turn like that, and I
Yeah,
think they'll
they
lose
should
people.
never have done it. They should
I-
never have done it. If they did do this, they should never have done it.
Right. I think it would be fucked up for them to make a sharp turn like that. I think they'll lose a lot of people. I think a lot of people will be disappointed if they find out that reincarnation is not real. I think they've leaned into it too much. What do you think, Taylor?
So I'm big on like studying into the root of words and understanding like how they emit themselves. So even the word reincarnation in general, because the whole show is kind of given themes of The Walking Dead. Carnal flesh is taking the soul's memories and kind of going through the same cycles until it reaches a certain vibration in order to travel. At least this is the way some people believe through quantum physics, biology, spirituality. So, as far as like the reincarnation, for me, like how the writers would do it, honestly don't think they're going to divert from the stories, because if we're talking about incarnate and we're looking at, you know, the night walkers and how they're coming out and how their flesh can't really be destroyed necessarily, at least not in the way I guess that we would picture. The reanimation of like Eloise, right? The girl inside of the woman, to me, still reads like the process of the splitting of mitosis. So your memories are split. And mem, the word, comes from water. So essentially, like anything that she's picking up, Tabitha will mirror, but not exactly, because we're talking about a woman versus a girl. And even like the hospital scene from last season, I believe, when Tabitha arrives there, the arrival is like the entry point through the axis mundi, which is through the eyesight. And if you see a picture of the axis mundi, it looks like an eyeball. So the tree falling would be like the spine or the Jed pillar. So the awakening as Tabitha enters back into the town is her entry point, maybe back into where Miranda left off before a different decision was made. Christopher, Miranda's husband, right? So he's not in the town, but Tabitha arrives with Jim. That's like the fork in the road. Now, Jim then mirrors the exact story of Osiris because he becomes the resurrected one. He's hanging upside down. He's entered into death, so has to be reborn again. But with like Eloise, even her name having El in it reminds me of the Elohim, which they thought it was going to be in the form of a child in some mythologies resurrecting back. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a reincarnation bit to it, just because like if you follow spiritual mythology in that sense, energy can't be created or destroyed, only transferred. And so she will reappear, just maybe in a different way.
Nah, you're right. Like the Elohim, you have Elgin, Marielle, like all the different L's coming through on the show is crazy.
Yeah, it's like a triple thing, because even what we're seeing with Fatima, because I remember I was talking to you earlier about the alchemist and Fatima being a character in there. Her building up this golem or this champion is also like an internal thing. That's a resurrection in itself, because she gave birth to something that was dead essentially to come back into life, which is kind of like the dismemberment of Osiris, except it doesn't happen to Ellis in this sense. This is her giving birth to one of those beings and then having to build herself up like internally through the golem. And then, you know, when Boyd and Kenny see her, they don't exactly understand it, but it's still a part of her journey to awareness, which we saw all the way back to your videos in season 1 about like LSD and her connection with Julie.
Yes. You know, all of those connections, right? All of the symbolism, it seems arbitrary at times, but then when you look at them in the grand scale of things, they're all kind of connected. Even what Taryn is saying and how it even connects to Shakespeare, right? You had Donna saying when Tien Chen died, she says to Boyd that we're going to get our pound of flesh, which is a reference to the Merchant of Venice. You know, you have the tip of the spear. I'm even like going with Shakespeare on that one. You know what I mean? And then you have this spear being one of the artifacts from the Templars. All of these connections. Now, here's what I think, kind of getting back on what my theory is. I think, now this is a theory. I've made theories about Taryn's theories when we bounce off like this. We did this all season last season. Here's one of them. This is a good stream, y'all. This is one for the books for sure. Like cooking in the beginning all the way through. Taryn hops up in here and starts cooking a whole barbecue real quick. Like Taylor comes through and cooks up for us. All right, so
But real, I have to ask you, man. What
let
do
me
you
say this real quick. Terrence's theory that leads to the whole like treasure hunt and everything. I said, bro, I don't think these things are going to actually show up. I think that we're going to see them have a treasure hunt on the show. And boom, we have that. That's a connection that I didn't even think about until today that Terrence jumped up here. I said that to him. Now, my connection here is that I believe that these connections to the Templar and everything are going to be connected to Rendezvous and somehow. I think Rendezvous is connected to an ancient order that has been studying the phenomenon of From for centuries. And they, through various companies, like Rendezvous, the Peach Company, the Box Company, the other companies that you see in this place, the Maboose Company, that we see them using the Maboose medical equipment that was in the ambulance, even in the hospital. I think that all of these companies are under the umbrella of Rendezvous, or Rendezvous is under the same umbrella as well, because we can easily say that Rendezvous has been in this company in this place at least since 1971. And they showed up again when Boyd came through. Then they showed up on Henry's computer. We got a super chat from the very generous Luna Cascade. Thank you so much with the actual sponsoring of this live stream right here. And she says, thank you so much for your generosity, sis. Means so much to the channel. She says, Mesoamerican traditions say teeth are anchors of soul energy. Burial rituals include burying their teeth near trees as a symbol of life, rebirth, and transition. And Man in Yellow controls dead souls. Curse broken by performing correct burial ritual. Part 1 of Escape. I'm with you on that. I'm one that believes that Jade's theory is not necessarily correct as far as that's what they need to do, but I definitely think it's a part of what they need to do. And the other things will be revealed. They'll get super close. They'll think that it's over and it's not going to happen, but then there are other things that are going to happen. When Julie locks in on the Man in Yellow information, we know that she's seen the Man in Yellow. We know that Boyd is looking for the Man in Yellow. I think when that connection happens, when that connect, he's looking for the Man in Yellow. He specifically said, yo, find us anything in there to see if you can find something about the Man in Yellow. I think Julie is going to be the one that gives him that connection and things that they need to see or know. But yeah, I love that. The burial rituals in the Mesoamerican traditions as well. And we know that this show is definitely cooking up with a bunch of different ingredients from all different types of cultures and schools of thought. What are your thoughts on that, Terrence?
Hey man, I'm sorry. I'm on another phone call now. Sorry, I had to take another call.
No problem. You know, that's my thoughts on the Mesoamerican traditions thing. You know what I'm saying? Indeed, like there are so many different. I even love the way that you can tie that to slavery, another part of slavery where they used to take the teeth from slaves and make dentures out of them. You know what I mean? One of the most more popular examples of this was George Washington had teeth from enslaved people. I think he had some donkey teeth or horse teeth in it, baby horse teeth in his mouth too. Like they used animal teeth, metal, all kind of shit to make dentures back in the day. Imagine putting that shit in your mouth, yo. To like, come on, yo, are we tripping or what? But that's what they used to do. And they used to make dentures with that. So I thought that was very interesting on how these different nuances of history and culture can be wrapped up into this show. Like I love it. I love how they put it together. But I love that comment as well about the burial stuff along with the teeth and being connected to the soul. There's even traditions where people purposely knock out their front teeth. I forget what the tradition is. Oh man, I forget what culture practices that tradition, but they purposely, like when they reach a certain age, like they knock out their front teeth, and like their whole family is like that. Hold on, Taylor dropped off. Taylor said she had to drop off, but she's still listening. I was telling Taylor in the text message that her mic wasn't connected, and the spell check hit it and said your McDonald's isn't connected. I was laughing about that. Yo, this live is on fire right here. We cooking. Taryn, come back whenever you feel like it. I think that getting back to what we were talking about, I think that the Templar connection is pointing us to the ancient order that is possibly watching everything go down and from. I think Rendezvous is definitely there pulling the strings. I think that Henry's connected to them in some way. I think that Miranda may have even been connected to them in some way. It doesn't make sense that she just got high one time and continued on painting paintings for years and making bottle trees, getting the permission from the city to do a bottle tree across town and all of these community art projects that she was doing. This had to go on for years. Did she continuously get high? Did she keep taking the acid trip that made her have these visions? None of that is really broken down, even though Henry's talk to Tabitha in the basement was very detailed. I mean, we know that it was on his 35th birthday. So they're 35 and they've got 2 children. You know what I mean? So he's 35, he's got 2 children, and they take the children away and go do an acid trip. What did she? And he says that this was all her idea. You know what I mean? I think that what we see Henry grieving, I think his grief is also coming from a little bit of guilt. I think he actually knows more than what he's saying. I think he feels guilty about something. Now, I'm gonna take back some of the things I said about Henry, that his purpose is nefarious. I don't know about that, but I'm kind of looking at it like Donna. I never said Donna was a mole. I've always said Donna knows something that she's not telling. That doesn't I've always reiterated, like, I'm not saying she's a mole, but I'm saying she does know some things that she's not telling. That's how I kind of look at Henry. I think
Clara's suspicious, though. Clara is suspicious.
Clara is definitely suspicious, and I think that it's in the suspicious way of, I think that Clara and Dale were the eyes and ears for Donna. I think they were watching things, paying attention to things, and doing things for Donna. I think Clara is one who, I'm tripping off how her eye healed up like that. And, and I don't know for the life of me, why doesn't Elgin put on some sort of eye patch or something? Nobody really want to see that shit, bro. Like, what are we doing? Somebody said Clara is Eloise. That would be crazy as hell.
Yeah, hey, that's not a bad theory.
Yeah, it's not a bad theory.
The eye color. The eye color is important.
Yeah.
Eloise's eyes are brown.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be that's not actually a bad theory. Clara being Eloise. That would be a crazy theory. Who do you think was singing at the when the scarecrows came in?
Shit, that's a good theory. That's a good theory. That Clara is Eloise.
Yeah, that is a good theory. That is a good theory. It's not any meat on the bones right now, but it's definitely some bone structure there. But there's no meat on the bones though. Like, we don't have, like, I mean, it's just a speculative theory. Like, we don't have anything that ties her to Eloise, do we?
Well, she lives with Victor. She always seems to be around Victor. She disappeared. She was the last to leave Colony House when they had the village meeting. And she runs into Julie.
Yeah, I thought that when Julie went to go steal the weed.
Yeah, she was kind of sus there. But outside of general susness and having the same, I think she has the same eye color as Eloise. So, but why wouldn't Clara let Victor know that his sister is alive and that she time traveled?
Or what if she forgot too?
Well, that is interesting, I suppose. I mean, we don't know anything about Clara as the problem.
Yes, and we don't know much about Eloise. We don't know much about Eloise. And I agree with you 100% about when we see Miranda getting jumped on by Smiley, that that perspective is all wrong. I said that from the very beginning. I was like, why would they show it like that? Why don't they show Smiles Davis running towards the camera instead of showing us the perspective of a third person watching it?
Yeah.
If it was a memory, I mean, you're telling us that this is a memory. Tabitha wouldn't remember seeing her body walking. You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't remember it in that way. You know?
Yeah. This Eloise thing is ridiculous.
None of her memories would appear that way.
What
her memories don't appear from. If she was Miranda, why don't her memories? Why do we see Miranda's face in the memory? Why they could have easily had showed us that it was Miranda by her looking in the rearview mirror or something like that, and boom, we see Miranda's face. But why do they show these memories that Tabitha's having as if it's not really the person that's having the memory?
I mean, it could just be visually so that it's, you know, easier for people to digest it rather than doing a POV, which might be a little unusual.
You know, I'm very curious on when they filmed the scene when Miranda was driving that car, because from this season, the actress was not brought on the set for as far as I know. But she was in season 3, and we only got one scene of her getting caught by Smiles Davis. So surely they didn't bring her on the set last season just to film that one thing. Do you think that we're seeing anything from that was filmed last season?
No.
You don't think so? Do you think that they filmed The Man in Yellow back in 1978 last season?
No.
No?
No.
So you think everything that we're seeing is filmed this season?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, even the first episode was kind of like, okay, some of the parts in the even in the trailer, they was giving us stuff from season 3.
I don't know, man. I've been so disappointed with the time travel scenes.
The in the trailer they showed boys saying there's something new here. We got a problem. There's something new. That was when he was talking to Julie after they found Paula's body. He came out the house and talked to her. So that was in the trailer. A lot of stuff from season 3 was in the season 4 trailer, bro. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. Maybe we'll see more stuff with Miranda, but they really got to clear that up with what's going on with that car. What are your thoughts on the car again?
That it could mean
for the people that weren't in here.
That it could mean that all the visions of reincarnation are actually hallucinations. Or the man in yellow is making them interpret what they're remembering as reincarnation memories, but they are in fact ancestral memories, and they're seeing them from the perspective of Eloise.
You know, nobody with any kind of knowledge or authority has told them that they were reincarnated. They assume they're reincarnated because they got a download of memories after the little Aunt Cooey girl showed up. So no one has actually confirmed it, other than the vision that Jade got with his younger self saying that, yeah, these are the other yous.
But she literally says Jade was Christopher and I was Miranda. You know, like it's pretty unambiguous, you know?
Right. But so
you're right. They could be interpreting it wrong, potentially. But, you know, It's so messy, man. I can't wait for the last episode so that we actually learn something and see what's going on.
Actually, from what we've seen,
nothing.
The cycles within the cycles theory is the only thing that makes it make sense. Because you can have your reincarnation and you can also have your time travel. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess you get the time travel either way you cook it because you got story walking Julie there. But and we've seen that she can go to other cycles. That's a very interesting point there, that Julie went back to Victor's cycle. So is it possible that she can go to even more older time periods? And how's that wig going to work then?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've
Her
lost
clothes, everything.
Faith. I've lost a lot of faith, unfortunately.
In what? The ending?
In the showrunner's ability to give us satisfying, comprehensive answers. If what everyone thinks is true, and season 5 is the last season, I would be shocked if they can give me an ending that would satisfy me. So
I think that they are definitely going to have some sort of spinoff. And I don't think it's going to be a movie. I think they're going to actually spin this fucker off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they're going to do another show. They might even do a It Welcome to Derry kind of thing where they go back into the other cycle. I would love to see a show about Victor, the 1978 people that was there, the 1970s people that were there, and what was going on before. And we know ain't no talismans coming in this show. You know what I'm saying? So they'd have to have some sort of other form of protection. They could reveal some other things, you know. So we know no talismans will be going because they had to hide and shit when Victor was a kid. Then that show kind of goes as the seasons go on. Maybe season 3, we start seeing what happens to Victor and how he grows up through those 40 years and what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Real in the comments, someone no context has said spin-offs confirmed. Yes, that is my current theory, is that we will get
they already confirmed the spin-off. When?
No way. I haven't seen anything about that. That would blow
I
up.
haven't seen anything about that. That would have blew up through the fandom, yo. Get the fuck out of here. Right? Joy's in the building. She said spin-off confirmed. What? Where did they already confirm that at? The spin-off is confirmed, but it won't have Tabitha or Boyd. Where did you hear that at? Where is this coming from?
I saw it on Facebook.
But it was it too?
I saw that on Facebook, but it looked like some AI rubbish, some bullshit.
Oh yeah, see, that's the bullshit. That's why I don't fuck with that shit. Yeah, see, that's some bullshit.
Let's Google it.
Let's do it.
Would it be announced in a big way?
From spinoff confirmed.
Like, even the image was weird. Like, it said it won't have Tabitha or Boyd. Usually when they would make an announcement like that, they would say the actors, not the characters. They would say Catalina and Sandina Moreno and Harold Perrineau will not return for the spin-off series. They wouldn't say Tabitha and Boyd. I think No Context is quoting it exactly.
Okay, it says there is currently no official confirmed spin-off for the hit MGM supernatural horror of From. While a spinoff is not in the works, there is still more of the original story to come. The network has officially renewed the series for a 5th and final season. Yeah, that I don't think that's real, man.
Unfortunately, I think No Context has seen the same thing that I saw and got excited.
She said, "My bad."
Well, it got me excited for a minute.
What? I was like, okay, yeah, they would have announced that.
Yeah,
They
unless it
would've
was a leak.
definitely-
You know, if that was a leak, but what you know, I mean, there was that Donna leak.
I want to ask you this. Oh, that Donna leak was crazy though, but that was just due to the fact that they
Yeah, they missed a week and they didn't let the people know that they were missing a week, and it went out as scheduled because they'd already seen it. And
yeah, they had already seen it and wrote the article and already had it scheduled to come out, and they didn't tell anybody about that shit. And yeah, that was kind of whack that they did that. To be honest with you, I didn't even like them pausing in the middle of the season like that. There's also a rumor that there's going to be. Del Senior was telling me earlier that there was going to be 13 episodes for next season. That would be amazing. 13 episodes? That's like some Game of Thrones shit.
Yeah, they would need it.
You know, I remember when Game of Thrones started making them episodes like 2.5 hours at the end of the season, at the end of the last season. But yeah, that would be great.
Okay, how long is Lord of the Rings? That's my question to you, Real.
Lord of the Rings, what, the trilogy or the
How long is Lord of the Rings trilogy?
How many hours is that? 9 hours?
Lord of the Rings was 9 hours for the theatrical version.
Yeah,
right?
the theatrical version was 9 hours.
Now, how long is season 5 going to be?
So season 5 would have to be at least 10 hours.
So they got a lot done in 3 Lord of the Rings films. So who knows? Maybe they'll pull it out the bag. But the pace is so slow this season. Things are happening that don't add much, you know? I'm waiting for the plot to progress. And it's just like, oh, let's do a little detour of some mushrooms. Oh, let's have Julie experiment with story walking that goes nowhere. You know, like let's have Fatima build a golem for ages. There better be a golem fight at the end of this season. You know, golem versus dolls. That's what I'm envisioning. But I don't think we're gonna get it. I think we're gonna get, but I don't know. We might get lucky. We might get Bigfoot versus a polar bear. Then I'd be really happy.
Luna Cascade said the Lord of the Rings is a terrible show. Yeah, that shit is trash. I'm not even gonna lie. I know they spent a bunch of the Rings of Power. That's what it's called. I know they spent a bunch of money on that. That shit is trash.
That show was let down by its writing, very, very badly. I don't think, I don't think it looked terrible, although I didn't love the costumes personally. But it was the writing that ruined that franchise above all else. And and people really don't. The writing is so much of it, and so many other people get blamed. You know, the director gets blamed, the actors get blamed, the set designers get blamed, the CGI artists get blamed, and usually it's the writers that have ruined the whole thing. And and the actors are doing the things that the writers are making them do, and they're having to deliver dialogue that's really bad. The CGI guys are having to make these ridiculous things that don't look like they make sense because they weren't organically written into the story. The TV series was bad because of the writing. Full stop. It was
Big Heck
terrible.
is in the building. Big Heck says, "What's up with Ethan's radio?"
Oh man,
what do you think about Ethan's radio? Is that a nothing burger?
He's going to be tempted by a voice on the radio to go and do the classic thing where the kid goes and gets himself in danger and then he needs to be rescued. So Ethan is going to be tempted somewhere by that radio. It's going to go wrong, or it might even go right. It might be that believing the voice of Jim will turn out to be the right thing to do, or the voice of Thomas, or whoever it might be. He will follow that voice. It may, and it will go.
If a voice comes through out of Jim and Thomas, who you think is going to be?
Well, him and Jim already decided that Thomas's voice wasn't real.
Okay.
I mean, that's so classic from tease us a scenario and then just drop it like a bag of hot sick.
Nah, real shit. Joy said, "How's the golem gonna get out of the room? Bust through the Kool-Aid man through the walls? Like,
that's a good point. It's pretty large.
He might jump out the window and come down.
It probably would burst out from the top floor. Wow, it's a good point. What are they even gonna do with that thing?
Yeah, what is it? I think that the thing just gives her power. and notice that when she sees the Kenny on the bus through, okay, why aren't Tabitha's memories the same way Tabitha was seeing Kenny through Smiley's eye? That's the way Tabitha's memories should look, in my opinion.
Because
You know what I'm saying?
Because Fatima gave birth to Smiley, so it's a different mechanism. She's not getting memories from Smiley. She's
But I'm
getting
saying the memory and what it looks like to us. If Tabitha is in fact Miranda, then
Yeah.
every memory that she has should be from the point of view of Miranda. When you remember something, you don't remember what you looked like when it was happening. You don't.
Yes. Yes, but we are watching a TV series and film, and it's pretty rare for them to do POV shots where there's like a camera where their face would be pointing outwards.
Okay, I feel you on that. But what I was saying about Fatima and the golem, notice that when she started having those visions, she was touching the golem's head.
Yes.
Like where you would put the letters at to animate it.
Yeah.
You know. Luna says, I wish From would take notes from Widow's Bay. Concise storytelling every episode. Absolutely. I agree.
Widow's Bay has pretty good writing. I like the comic relief that they scatter throughout it as well. It's quite good. You know, it's like it's scary, but it's funny at the same time.
That's reality though. Like
yeah.
When you scare people, like you see videos of people scaring people, like the reactions are funny. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, when you scare someone, you scare them to get a funny reaction out of it. Like you scare them for some sort of comic, relief of, you trying to scare them and you laugh about it, And so like horror works, comedy works in horror. From is very funny to me. From is hilarious to me. You know what I mean? Even the situations like Ragdoll Roger, like the man in yellow, like shape shifting and turning into Sophia and all of that. That's kind of hilarious. Like you think about it, like he turns into this young girl, like, and he's going in here, like it's just not. It's hilarious. Like I think it works well with Widow's Bay. I think you're right. Like it works well with Widow's Bay. Let me get your opinion. Is Widow's Bay better than From? Season 1. Season 1 From, season 1 Widow's Bay.
Season 1 of From remains my favorite season of anything. It is excellent. It just went off the rails when John Griffin and Jeff Pinkner said that they've left themselves room to play around with a lot of things, and they've got a structure in mind, but they're playing a bit loosey-goosey, and they came up with Smiley's rebirth, after they killed him off. It wasn't planned. They're making it up as they go along in terms of plot. I think that they are not good at that. Sorry. That's, maybe that's a bit rude to say, but I just don't think they're very good at it because they've picked up plot points, dropped plot points. They've used these weird mechanisms, etc. I'm not agreeing with a lot of choices they're making. And that's, that's just my opinion. It's, it's not objective truth, but, I wish that they had considered, I think that maybe they should have thought through the plot a little bit more because, like, for example, this bookmark stuff with Julie, I'm sorry, man. Like, I was just like, what are we doing here? What is this? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Is it blasphemy for me to ask the question, Golden Child? Like, nah, I'm not. From season 1 is probably like the best shit smoking on TV. Like, no bullshit. Like, season 1 was perfect. I don't have any qualms with season 1 whatsoever. I was glad that we were getting a mystery show. I was glad that we didn't get any fucking answers whatsoever in season 1. And I was glad that we were moving on. I was just very underwhelmed with season 2 and season 3. You know what I mean? Season 4 is shaping up to be better than season 2 and season 3. Season 2 was boring as hell. Season 3, they drug on the whole Fatima pregnancy too much. It was just like, they just drug it on. They should not have got into it so early in the season because it drug on. They should have started getting into it later in the season so that it would have been moving a lot faster. And then then they decided to give us some information. I wouldn't call it answers. I just call it information. And now they're giving us some answers. In season 4, I can definitely say is better than season 2 and 3 already. I don't even care how they end it, but it's already better than both of those seasons. And that's just only based off 2 episodes. And check this out. The 2 episodes that had the most action and the dopest episodes of this season are 45 and 47. Once again, the 45 and 47 connection to Trump. 45, 47. So, yo, I'm telling you, I love this show. Definitely not blasphemy to ask the question, though. I think that some elements of Widow's Bay are inspired by From. What do you think about that, Terrence?
I don't see the inspiration of Widow's Bay from.
I see a lot of it. Like, just to even start you off with the lighthouse.
I see shared visual language, but I don't believe one is the inspiration for another. I believe that Widow's Bay shares Stephen King inspiration, and that's why there are these similarities.
You have the lighthouse, the black sheriff, the teeth.
Yeah, this is again, it's Stephen King stuff in my view.
Okay.
Yeah.
It fits in that wheelhouse. I get you on that.
But yeah, I mean,
Kay said the season 2 has been confirmed already.
I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. It's just my opinion. You may be right. You could well be right.
You know, I like that From breaks my brain. Widow's Bay doesn't do that. It's dope though. Okay. No, I agree with you. I like that From gives us more of a cerebral challenge than Widow's Bay does. But Widow's Bay, if you look at the symbolism in Widow's Bay, you can go just as deep as the as From goes. However, like I thought they threw a curveball at me that I didn't see coming, I'm not gonna say so much. I'm just gonna say a little bit. This is kind of spoilery. But I'm not gonna say too much. I'm not gonna like just flat out spoil you. But the descendant, I'll say it like this. The descendant, who the descendant actually was, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
But I thought that the son was going to be a descendant. So there you have that. So, but are you familiar with what I'm talking about, Terrence?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so don't front over here. You know you watch Widow's Bay, bro.
What I mean is, I think I know what you're suggesting, and I agree with you.
Okay, yeah. I thought it was going to be the son. But who it actually was, that one. I didn't even see that coming. But when you go back,
I haven't seen this episode. I thought it was the son as well, so I have to watch the latest episode.
Oh, great, good. All right, so you thought it was the son as well, right? Okay.
Yes, I definitely 100%. I mean, they were making us think that, so it's not like I haven't built any theories around Widow's Bay. I'm watching it purely for enjoyment. So that felt like what they were obviously heading towards. So I will have to watch the latest episode, Emergency Shelter, to see what is revealed.
Okay, so yeah, it definitely reveals. I'm not going to tell you. I'm glad that I worded it the way that I worded it. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, I didn't realize.
Chocolate Beauty's in the building. She said she thought it was the son. Yo, shout out to Chocolate Beauty for gifting the memberships. I see that up here in my starred comments. It's just up there in a minute there. Thank you for those. If you got one of those memberships, thank her. Yes, indeed. But yes, you thought it was the son. I thought it was the son. And for anybody who thought it was the son that hasn't seen it yet, including you, Taryn, I apologize for spoiling that it's not the son. You know what I mean? But yeah, somebody said pump the brakes. That can still happen. That can still happen. Scarmonger says, what's your favorite episode of From? I think episode 407. 407 is my favorite. 405 is my second favorite.
Oh, I like
Uh,
the Colony House Massacre. That's the
The
best one.
Colony House. That's
Yeah.
number 4 for me. Number 3 is episode 206.
Episode 1 is pretty good of season 1.
Episode 206 and episode 1 is my 5th. So I'm at episode 407 is in the top, episode 405, episode 206, which is when Boyd kills Miles Davis. That whole episode with the scene with Elgin driving them and the camera angles and everything, that shit was fire as hell the way they shot that. Also the way that they shot and scored the music behind the whole like Miles Davis encounter with all the cowboy and all of that. I thought all of that was real dope. And then the storytelling with but that's where the storytelling kind of gets fucked up as well because Fatima was already pregnant. But anyway, then you have episode 107, which is the Colony House Massacre. But 101 is like 101 isn't even worth mentioning in the top because it goes without saying pretty much. Like
Yeah.
when we saw what happened to Little Megan, we were all hooked.
Yeah.
And that if you weren't hooked, and if you were hooked, that was the part that really hooked you. Anything before that was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
But then when that happened, oh man. And then it
Real,
went right to the credits.
I'm afraid I have to go. But it was very good chatting with you. Thank you
As
for having me.
always. Thank you for coming up, man. For real.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Indeed, my brother. Peace. Yes. So that's my order. My order is really 101 episode. The pilot episode doesn't even really fit in that conversation because it's the one that hooked us all. You know what I'm saying? Big Hex said I knew it was the sun, but I didn't guess. But no, you don't know it's this because right at this point it's not. I thought it was, and I'm sorry for anybody who watched it and I spoiled that for you. But I didn't spoil who it actually is, and I'm not gonna spoil who it actually is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you thought the son or the son's mom. That's what I was thinking. But as somebody said earlier, it could still turn out to be that. Justin says 101 is the favorite. Yeah, it kind of doesn't even, it kind of goes without saying. Like 101 is a fire ass episode. You know what I mean? From beginning to ending, it was slow enough at the beginning and then it ramped up and then it was just fire from there on out. It took us into the whole Matthews being stuck in the RV overnight. Jim and Ethan with Christy and Boyd. That episode was fire. This them being like remember that your first time and Kui that the first time you watched that. And Kui the first time you watched the pilot episode of From. Did it not fuck your whole head up? Like before, I didn't even go to the second one right away because I believe they dropped it on the same night. Both of them dropped the same night. Episodes 1 and 2 dropped the same night, y'all. I remember that. I believe so. I'm not mistaken. They did. You know what I'm saying? If not, then that means that I caught From on its second week. But I thought that the first 2 episodes dropped the same night. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I didn't even go to the second episode. I watched the first episode like 2 or 3 times before I went to the second episode to watch it. I was noticing all of the Native American stuff in there from the beginning, the very beginning. I was noticing all of the different nuances that they threw at us. It was so beautiful the way they put that show together. The way they put everything together. I was like, uh-oh, this is about to be one of them I have to be here every week show. At the time, I was working real heavy, wasn't really worried about TV like that. But it was something that I always done. I was very disappointed by Westworld. And then From comes out. And man, we've been hooked ever since. I'm pretty sure if you're here and you've been a day one From watcher, the story's probably similar. Like it just caught you out of nowhere. I didn't see a trailer or anything. A friend of mine told me that it was coming on and I caught it. Let me know. Was the first and second episode dropped on the same day? Let's look at that. Luna said, compare Widow's Bay to From and Welcome to Derry. Storytelling best in Widow's Bay. Welcome to Derry. They don't make you wait the seasons to pay off. Right. Those shows are more convenient for the average person, I would say. The average person doesn't get a kick out of all of the intricate things. Those are for special people like we. You know what I'm saying? People that like to dive deep, dig into the show. That is pretty much that's pretty much where it comes from. That's pretty much, you know, the vibes of the show. Widow's Bay and It Welcome to Derry. It Welcome to Derry had the best pacing of all three shows. It Welcome to Derry's pacing is great. The pacing of Widow's Bay is great. The first two episodes was kind of, yeah, but by that third episode and then the fourth episode is the best episode so far. You know, I would say the sixth episode where the dude, they had the dude on the boat, that was the funniest episode of Widow's Bay so far. I mean, that episode had me rolling. Like, there was too much in that episode that was funny, but it was seriously funny. I loved it. The acting is great in Widow's Bay. You know, I love Widow's Bay. I think it's a great show, but From tickles the fancy in a cerebral way. From tickles your brain with the illest feather. You feel me? Like, From is one of those shows that is you really can't match. I guess From is coming off the heels of Lost. And so, not the heels, but standing on the shoulders of Lost. From stands on the shoulders of shows like Lost, which the creators are synonymous. But I don't know. Like, in this day and age, people want the answers faster and all of that kind of stuff, and I get that. And that to me is what makes From better. That it doesn't do that. That it doesn't give us the answers. You know what I mean? It's frustrating at times, but the show this season has definitely been dropping a load on us, y'all. And it has been continuing the threads of symbolism that have been presented time after time. You know what I'm saying? We've been rocking out for nearly 2.5 hours now. I don't want to make this live stream too long. This was a great live stream. Ace, come back next time. I wish Ace would have came back. Definitely want to hear the perspective for sure. Taryn came through, dropped some real heavy heat on the stove for us. Taylor came through, dropped some real heavy heat and some footnotes for us that we can go check out. Like, definitely check out Taylor's channel. Somebody, if you have the link, drop it in the chat for us, please. Also, check out Debbie Ebbo Bevy's artwork on her channel as well. And I thank all of my guests for joining me. I had to do this express live stream for the culture. We'll do one tomorrow as well. And of course, we will have Saturday Night Live pregame, episode 48, episode 408. You know what I mean? On the Trump Connections birthday. Like, come on. Is that why they needed that episode to play before Trump's birthday? Like the week before Trump's birthday? The 4/7 with the 9/11 and all of that? Because you could see his building in there in the post 9/11 shot. So what's the deal? What are we talking about? Yo, thanks again, y'all, for joining. This one has been fire. This is a fire live stream. I might even cut some of this up and make a video out of it. Yo, peace. Catch you in the next one.